we're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, I mean, Hasevic is pulling at him, just prevent any.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
McKenzie plays it in, gets it right back to Ramsey Terminini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Terminini from the circle.
And just like that, Jenga is back in this match. What a shot from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, two teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes the game what it is. But I think, like, this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic.
From number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So we take another look.
That's what,
wow.
You know, Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell, like, our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like, we could have, stayed really, like, there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You know, you want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montes doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
The attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Nice run out of here at Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Ole's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game, and we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league. And he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. You know, Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, like, that's a huge disparity.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Sliding tackle, and if Montes saved that, outstanding effort as well.
Kansas City in the attack, moving it. Blanco, did he make it? He did, says the referee. Goal number 4 for Lansing City. They pull ahead.
It was a pass to Blanco.
Yeah, Blanco
got it.
Yeah, Blanco touched it. Did you hear me say Blanco puts it away? That's all right. It hit the inside back post. I just have to mention before we move on here, that game was so amazing. You know how many players under the age of 20 were part of it?
A lot.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of them.
Ethan Castaneda, there's been times where something that he does in the game is exposed, or mistakes and things like that. He was amazing in this game. Last week against Jinga he was, and in this game he played really well. And I think the things that Lansing City have been investing in are starting to pay off.
There were 3 red cards in that game.
3 red cards. You could see it on their faces, like they would hit the post again and they'd be like, what is happening?
And they only gave up 4 goals?
But it wasn't competitive.
In 40 minutes?
It wasn't competitive.
4 goals!
A sign that a fan has made, a fan of Down Futsal made it. Chicago House is grabbing the sign, holding it up, and they're passing it around.
The ball sticks to his feet. Like, I don't think that you should have seen him at practice last night. He was just toying with this. I ain't gonna lie.
What level of crazy do you need to be a goalkeeper in futsal?
11. 11. No one woke up one day and said, I want to be a keeper today. I didn't want to be a goalie.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Third Half podcast on this amazing Thursday night here in the studio in the Lansing City Arena. This podcast is presented by Jolt Creativity. Destroy the lie that says I am not creative. A very special show for you guys tonight. A special guest coming all the way from Grand Rapids to join me here in the studio. We'll get to him in a second. But we're also going to be talking about who are your top 2 in the FCS. So you can get ahead of the game if you want. You can put it in the chat. Who are your top 2 teams in the FCS as we look towards the playoff picture starting to come more and more clear into view? And as we get into the postseason, that question is going to become more and more important as the top 2 will host the semifinal. They'll have a bye to the semifinal. So who are your top 2? We're going to talk about that as well as the games for the upcoming week. This weekend we have, I think it's 4 games, so we're going to be talking about those and a little bit of recap of the futures that happened this past weekend. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love for you to welcome with me into the studio goalkeeper for Ole. We had his fellow goalkeeper on several weeks ago, and now he's joining us. He has the second highest save percentage in the league currently, with a team that is not only 6-0 this year, but is also undefeated in FCS play. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show, Andres Montes. Andres, thanks for coming tonight, man.
What's up, Jaron? Thank you for having me. What's up, FCS family? I hope you guys are doing good.
So glad to have you on the show tonight, man. So let's jump right in. You told me you had a good drive out here. Traffic was all right, maybe a little bit, an hour drive out here to Lansing. And you're feeling ready. You're feeling good.
I'm feeling good.
And let's jump into kind of how you got into the game of futsal. So for most people, it starts with soccer. Is that how it is for you as well?
Yeah, I started soccer pretty early in my life. I think probably like 5 or 6, around there. And then futsal didn't come until a little later, honestly. It probably came like when I was like 11, 12. And then from there, I continued on probably into teens, 15, 16, and then I stopped futsal.
Okay.
And I literally just picked it up again when I got a little older.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little bit of gap in there. That's very interesting. We'll get back to that. So what was it like discovering the game of futsal? What was that process like for you?
It was a ride, man. Honestly, it's great. It's fast paced. It's a lot to think about, honestly. And I'm still learning every day. You know, my brother's teaching me on the team, coach teaching me on the team. It's a great experience with futsal.
That's awesome, man. How did you get introduced to it? Like, was it just like pickup? Was it a club? Like, how did you find out?
No, it was all through Ole. Ole also had ABK, which was ankle breakers. So I started with them in futsal, and yeah, like I said, it was probably up until like my mid-teen years that I did it. But then when I turned a little older, probably like 18, 19. After having stopped club soccer, I started with them again with Ole, and they brought me up to today.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So what was that time like for you during your? It sounds like you played futsal maybe like for 4 or 5 years in your teens. Describe those experiences for you. Were you were playing for Ole? Where did that take you? Did it take you to various tournaments and things like that?
They had a lot of out-of-state tournaments. They had a lot of regional tournaments, national tournaments. But honestly, me as a goalkeeper, I can be truthful. I think I was always like real second string. I wasn't as top as everybody else in futsal. Maybe because it's through the amount of experience that you get.
Yeah.
The more experience you get, the bigger of a baller you become.
Yeah.
And honestly, yeah, it took me a little while, to get to a higher level than it did for most kids. So I was kind of always on the second teams here, just playing around Grand Rapids, playing around around through the city. But yeah, as soon as I got older though, 18, 19, I started playing with the men's team, which was about like 3-4 years ago.
Okay.
And honestly, I started picking up a lot more on that. They walk you through steps. They tell you rights from wrongs properly, and now we grow into what we are now.
So that was 3 or 4 years ago where you picked it back up again, and that's when, if I'm hearing you right, that was kind of when things started to come together for you. What was that like to experience those moments where you saw yourself kind of going from more of like a reserve player, a second team, and now you're learning and you can see like your growth happening, and now you're playing swapping halves now with Frankie. What was it like for you to get to that point where you're like, wow, like I feel like things are starting to come together for me?
Well, they say retrospect is always 20/20, man. Honestly, right now I could look back at it and I could honestly really appreciate it, because I think the drive it gives you to really want to learn more, to really build on your skill. At least for me, it's helped me out a lot. I think if I was always like a starter keeper, if I was always, sometimes people get arrogant, sometimes people get too overconfident. I think I'm always hungry, and I think that's always been like the base of it. I'm really hungry to always trying to be the top I can, the best I can be, honestly.
Yeah.
So I look back at it, and at the moment it was kind of horrible because I used to 3-4 years ago I used to share a goal with not even share a goal. I would literally sit on the bench while we were playing in another league for Ole. And, it would suck because you sit on the bench for a while. But you look back at it now, and I was not ready to be on the court,
wow,
or something like that. And it's great to look back at it now and think, okay, now I can drive myself to be a better player. And, for me now, I think if I can grow this much in this little time, I can definitely grow a lot more in the years to come.
Yeah. Wow. And how old are you now?
I'm 23.
23. Okay. Gotcha. Wow, that's amazing. So when was do you have like a specific moment where you talked about you were kind of sitting the bench for a while? Was there like a moment where you started to, remember where you started to get more playing time or kind of make that transition to, more of a role in that sense? Do you remember a moment?
Honestly, yeah. I think the first time we went, I think even Frankie mentioned it, the first time we went to New Jersey to that Atlantic City tournament.
Okay, yeah.
I think it really started switching gears on me too, because it shows you, it literally you shows to yourself the level that you grow. And again, like I was saying, I'm not a high top player, like everybody else. So there I started getting halves constantly, and there I started making saves that I amazed myself, or making plays that took me a little more trouble to get through. But I think there. We made all the way to the finals. We lost, like Frankie was talking about it. It was a bittersweet moment, but shoot, even that, losing that has driven us so much. We want to get that Atlantic City win back so bad, and we're going to get it. We're going to get it, honestly.
Wow. I think you talk about you being like a hungry player. I think anyone that has seen you play, and even now, like sitting across from you, I'd be like, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to think anything different, I feel like it comes across in who you are. I think it's really amazing. What would you say is, you talk about that it has driven you. Give me a moment where you have seen it do that for you.
Honestly, this season has shown a lot of it. Last season, I think I showed flares of it, but I did have a couple of mistakes. In the NFPL season that we showed it like 2-3 seasons ago, I had a couple of good saves there. But this last season, honestly, I think has shown me that I can, if I work harder, honestly, not just me, any player that works harder, any player that drives himself to be better, you'll be top. And,
Wow.
And hopefully I don't talk out of pocket and then get banged on my next match. But
Yeah.
no, I think I've seen it from games now. Shoot, I think I had what was it? The Detroit Imperial game that I had. 2 PK saves or 2 6-foul PK saves. I think that was
Wow.
that was a nice little fun moment that I had this season.
That's amazing. Can you think of any other moments in your like futsal career that like stick out to you?
It's because there was a lot of down moments in my futsal career. That's why I don't want to highlight most of them. I think that's really what drives it for me. I've always had a lot of like errors. I've always had a lot of down bad moments in futsal, and not just in futsal, in soccer too.
Yeah.
And man, it's just a love for the game that goes ahead and makes you drive to want to be better.
Yeah.
It makes you drive to want to be better. So not one specific place. It's all just a blur to me. And shoot, Frankie said it last time. You have to be a goldfish with it too.
Yeah.
You know, you can let it hurt you for a little couple seconds, but then after that, you got to brush it off and then think about the next play. Think about the next save.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. What would you say? You know, if you talked about before we got on the air that you do some coaching, right?
Oh yeah, cool.
For Ole, right? Tell me about what that experience has been like for you.
It's been good too. It's definitely a learning experience. That's one of my newer things that I've gotten into. I'm not by all means experienced, but it definitely does show you, like, besides coaching the kids, it coaches yourself too. Like, man, the more you get on these kids, the more you should get on yourself about these little technical details and errors that you do. And definitely around the people that have helped me coach, they're teaching me a lot. Coach Lito, Coach Sammy, Coach Cesar Alayo, those guys, they know ball. So they go ahead and talk to you for a couple of minutes, and you definitely learn a thing or two.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I feel like of anyone that we've had on the show so far, I feel like you said hunger, but your just willingness in the short conversation I've had with you, it's like your willingness to go and do something and just be like, I am a student, like I am learning, and I admit that, like, I have struggles and I have errors, but I'm going to be hungry to improve. It's so clear in the way that you're talking and the stories that you're telling. Where did that come from for you?
Again, from errors as a youngin'. I think when I was like 11 playing in Ole, we were playing like a state cup playoff game. Remember, that was a big ball coming out through the top. Traveled onto it, slips it out through my hands. I get subbed out right away.
Oh wow!
And a lot of people look at it. It's just a kid, It's just a kid making a silly error and go, no, that bites into me.
Yeah.
And I think I've always just been that, like my mistakes, things that I can take control of, and I don't, like that. That kind of kills me.
Yeah.
Because, even in practices lately, if I make a mistake or if I do something that that I know is technically not right, it's like acid to my body. It burns me. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Wow.
And I have to improve. And I know I can improve, which is the worst part. So if I don't improve, I'm just being lazy. You know what I mean? So I have to do it. It's like a necessity to go ahead and do it.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like the players you coach got to be in a really great scenario, because all this like ability to learn and the hunger's got to be getting off on them. You're laughing at something.
Cesar Alayo, man, he said this, that soccer tennis mentality. It's a great thing from Coach Cesar. Honestly, he just started taking me to do soccer tennis, and you have to be technical with your feet there. Make sure you don't drop that. It's errors off errors with me, but after a lot of time, even a lot of my brothers from Ole, Johan, Aron, Moses, they pull up and they've helped me out a lot to improve. But it's definitely like you have to go through the rough. You definitely have to go through that rough patch.
Yeah.
I think shying away from the mistakes is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah. Wow.
You definitely have to be, all right, bro, I'm going in this 50-50. I can definitely make a mistake here, man. But, just bite down on your mouthpiece and go for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow. I think there are probably a lot of futsal players, especially young players, who probably have a very hard time facing the errors that they make, the mistakes they make, even putting themselves in positions of risk to make a mistake. I know that was something that something that we talk about a lot with futsal and with FCS Futures is just how you have to be brave. Like futsal is a game you have to be brave. It puts you in the spotlight. You can't hide. You can't throw someone out on the wing like you can in outdoor. Like you can't hide. So I would say that there's probably, especially youth players, that have that battle with this, like being brave, being willing to do something where you could make a mistake and facing that. What advice would you give to them to overcome that and have this attitude that you carry so well?
Honestly, dude, you it's like I said, you have to go through that rough patch. You have to literally push yourself. I don't know, like, where even my mentality sometimes comes from. You have to put yourself through that rough patch, bro. Like, there's no other way around it. You're not going to be great day and night, from day to night, bro.
Yeah.
You have to, you definitely have to go through a rough patch. And I think about it right now, man, I went through a couple.
Yeah.
I went through a lot, man. Honestly, shout out to all my Ole brothers because, they've stuck with me through a lot of the errors that I've done. And I continue to commit, and they continue to correct me. Honestly, a lot of my growth comes from my team, comes from my coach, comes from my captains. They're top, man. Gratitude to them. So go ahead. If I'm talking to the kids again, yeah, you guys just have to get as much time in and experience on that court with the ball, with the errors, as much as you can. Because literally, I think some of my errors even come from that. Not having enough experience.
Yeah.
Not having enough time on that court,
Yeah.
You want to get as much time as you can on that court to make errors or to make goals or to make bright moments, but you have to get as much time as you can on that court. Yeah,
it really seems like, the way you're talking about it, it's like there's really only two options. Either you face it and you do it, or you just run away. And it's like, what other option is there?
I'll go ask you a question. What other option do you see?
Right. I mean, I agree. I agree.
Like, you're not going to go ahead. It's not like a pill where you go ahead and, I'm sick, I'll take this pill, I feel better. Yeah. No, bro, you're going to have to rough it out.
No, I think that's an amazing perspective, because I think the fear of like making a mistake, the fear of costing a goal for your team. I mean, you play one of the most, I think of the word like deadly, but one of the most like critical positions, right? I think I said this maybe on third half one time. There's a coach who, coached me in outdoor, and he said that if a goalkeeper makes 10 mistakes, that's 10 goals. And if a defender makes 10 mistakes, that's 5 goals. And if a forward makes 10 mistakes, that's why he plays forward. That's what he used to say.
That's fair,
but so you play this position in futsal that is so critical, because every mistake is like, a lot of times you're giving up a goal, right? And that can be like harder to come back from than if like, oh, my man beat me, but I have help in the back. But that fear of like not being willing to face those mistakes, I think it probably holds a lot of people back, holds a lot of kids back. And I mean, I'm sure you can think about like, if you had let those things stop you, like what it would have held you back from.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you can go ahead and focus on the negative, but it's not going to do you any good, bro.
Yeah.
Make your errors, let it bite you, let it hurt you for a little bit, but then go ahead and think about the positives of taking away that last minute goal from that striker.
Yeah.
Think about that moment from saving a PK. Think about that moment you get from making a save. It's a different high with this position.
Wow.
I wouldn't want it any other position, honestly. It's the highest and lowest of lows with this position, and I love it.
How did you get involved in the goalkeeper position?
I started pretty young as well.
Okay.
Honestly, as soon as I started playing soccer, probably like when I was, like I said, 5 or 6, I think 7 or 8 around there. Honestly, I'm not keeping dates on these, but 7 or 8, I turned into a keeper. And from there, the rest is forward.
Do you remember what drew you to that position?
Yeah.
What was it?
So my favorite team, Club America. You know what I'm talking about. Club America, and they had a goalkeeper at the time when I was young. His name is Guillermo Ochoa.
Okay.
One of Mexico's best goalkeepers ever. And, man, seeing him fly, seeing him make saves is something.
Wow.
It's something special. It's like you would get like a high seeing him make a save.
Wow.
It was ridiculous sensation that you see him make a save. So now I chase that high. Now I chase that sensation of wanting to be high flying save, or a crazy last minute save, or inches. You make a save with the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, ain't no feeling like it,
Wow, that's so cool. What a fun story. You told me before we got on air that I think you had a chance to actually play in Mexico. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a chance to play.
What was that like for you?
That was pretty cool. It wasn't for a lot of time. It was for about like a year. Honestly, not even a year. 10 months. 10 months at most. It was a school that was connected to, like, it's a youth club connected to a professional team, which is called Monterrey.
Okay.
But it wasn't like highly funded or anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you did get to go sometimes. If you were good enough, they would send you and go straight to the club to go train with their proper youth teams.
Okay.
But it was mostly just like a filter out lot. So
okay.
So they get a bunch of kids. You're always training throughout seasons, and this one goes to the top team. If not, you're getting filtered out and you get out. And I did that for 10 months. Then I came back. But the experience over there, I think maybe is another thing that leads to my mindset. The hunger in Mexico is real, man.
Wow.
The hunger in Mexico is real. It's not a game to them over there. Sometimes for them it's a lifestyle, you know. That's what they make their bread off of.
Wow.
That's what they make their money off of. And it was different because you'd see them shoot. Like for me, I didn't go to school in Mexico for 10 months only, but there's a lot of people that didn't go to school for years now because they're training in the morning, training at night, games on the weekend, trying to do other things, but they're trying to get to the top.
Yeah.
And it was a different mindset that I saw from here. I'm not saying here there's not killers. There's a lot of people here who want to train to be the best. A lot of beasts that want to go ahead and take over. But I think in Mexico, you go ahead and see, like, man, I don't even want to talk too much about it, but like the poverty over there, bro, they go ahead and like they chew down. Like I said, they bite down on that mouthpiece and they want to go ahead and find an outing. So it's a beautiful thing to see.
And that was in outdoor soccer?
That was outdoor soccer.
That was outdoor.
Outdoor soccer, yeah. That wasn't futsal.
And how old were you when you went there?
So I did soccer, club soccer, like I said, to 11 up to 13. Then from 13, I went to Mexico.
Okay.
So from there, it was about like a year that I did it, 15.
Yeah.
So I was 13 to 15, kind of, somewhere around the area. Again, I'm giving you estimates with all these ages,
that's
so
fine,
my apologies.
But I don't have a checkbox over here to make sure that it's like everything lines up.
Campos or Ochoa? Ochoa, my brother. Ochoa.
There we go. Yeah, actually, speaking of the chat, I had there was something else on here that talked about hype man Montes. You wear your heart in your sleeve. I think it's really obvious, like even when you're playing the position, like you have a lot of energy. You're very bouncy on your toes. You're ready to go, you know. And it seems like you have this energy that you provide for the team. What's that experience like for you? Is that just like something that it's just kind of natural, like you don't really even try? It's just you just love playing? Where does that come from?
It comes from a mix of both. Like it is natural, but I think a lot of coaches growing up did tell me, hey, talk more. Like let them know about the play before it happens. And that's a big thing for me. Like if I can see the whole court, I have to organize. And like I said, if I don't take control of it, it drives me crazy. But for me to go ahead and stay quiet and to go and be like, let's see what this defender does. Let's see what this no, I can't. I have to constantly be talking.
Yeah.
And with that constantly being talking, which comes out naturally, makes the energy of us constantly being switched on, focused defensively, being sharp on every movement. Not just on certain plays, not just on this play or on the next play. Every play. Don't give up a second, you know.
Yeah.
That's Coach Fabian talked about it. Not specifically what I'm talking about, but we were once in a training and he said some teams train to win, other teams train to dominate. And that's the mentality. We have to go win.
Wow.
Dominate every second that we have in that match. Not give up anything. And if you do, whatever, get it back up and get the next one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't focus on that negative, but yeah, I think maybe that's where the energy comes from, constantly having to organize, constantly having to make sure my players are in great shape. And honestly, don't bite down on that negative. It's going to be a different story if I'm like, hey, why are you losing the ball here? Hey, why you keep losing the ball here? You know, no player wants to hear that.
Right,
No player wants to hear that. Go ahead. Hey, next play, whatever.
Yeah.
Fix this, get there. You know, not trying to tell too much of my secrets, but
not too many of them.
But yeah, that is where the energy comes from. And sometimes, honestly, it's not just for me either. I could do that maybe with a different team here on the FCS, and it might not work.
Yeah.
It's the players that want to accept getting spoken to.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful thing that Ole has.
Wow.
There is not like a sense of arrogance. There's not a sense of I'm better than everybody here, or I'm better than the next guy. No, everybody listens, everybody pays attention. You don't do your role, I mean, you're gonna pay the piper, bro. You're gonna get scored on. Your line's gonna lose a goal, something.
Yeah.
And I love that about this team.
Wow.
No arrogance. We're all driven. We're all focused.
Yeah.
I set on our priorities.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
I would say that communication with the defense is probably a aspect of goalkeeping that is not very visible from like people watching at home, even commentating games. It's not very often that I don't know if I've ever talked about how well a goalkeeper is talking to their team.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any other aspects of goalkeeping that are kind of hidden like that, but actually really important?
I mean, yeah, a lot. I mean, positioning. There's like again, I don't want to give too many secrets because there's a lot of top keepers on this league, regardless. So, but shoot, even if I say it, they understand a lot of positioning. The certain shape of your body that has to be on certain plays.
Yeah,
it really comes down to the most minute details. At least with goalkeeping, I can't say it for every player. Maybe it does have to do with every player. I'm not a field player, but
yeah,
at least when I look at goalkeeping, inches matter, man. Inches matter. Whether with the margin for error in futsal is so small.
Yeah.
And the margin for having to be top is also small. So you have to I really don't even know how to explain it. It's just a lot of small details that go into it.
A lot of details.
Yeah, a lot of small details that go into it. Yeah.
That's amazing to hear. Wow. This is great, man. I just want to
y'all should have came this year. Could have had a Midwest and Ole final. Aiden, congratulations. I know they made it pretty far into the I think Aiden Hatchett, top keeper. He made it pretty far into the Atlantic City tournament. So
yeah.
I think a couple other FCS players were there.
Yeah.
Or maybe. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
But
Awesome. Well, that kind of brings us to kind of your experience now with Ole. You've had a few seasons with them. You guys joined the FCS last year. What has it been like for you? I mean, you spoke about this a little bit, how you love being on this team, but what has your experience been like over these last 2 seasons, playing for Ole and the FCS?
Ole is top, man. That's the best I can say about it. Ole is top. There's no other place I'd love to be.
Wow.
I'm not gonna mention who. I've trained with other teams in the FCS. It's a different ball game when you even look at their trainings. We're not just scrimmaging. We're not just messing around. We're not just kicking the ball about. Everything you do has to be with the purpose. And that's not coming just from me. That's coming from all my players on the team. Everything they do comes with a purpose. Every run, every ball they touch, every movement they give has a purpose to it. Every drill we do has a purpose to it. We're really focused on detail. Coach Fabian is really focused on detail. And I think his the way he guides our team, the way he coaches our team, really is a big part, like a big glue to our team. Because I think we could, if let's say we didn't have Coach Fabian, let's say we weren't Ole, and we were just a random team, right? I think we could be like a bunch of teams of superstars or divas who don't want to listen or what can I say? Because we have a lot of top ballers. I don't want to sound overconfident, but we have a lot of top ballers that could do their own thing. But again, the beauty of these players, no arrogance. The drive they have to them to be better every day is a beautiful thing. So I think that's been my experience for the most part with it. Like I said, in the beginning when I started with Ole, probably 3 years ago. I mean, I'm playing with them my whole life, but when I restarted, it was bittersweet. It was bittersweet.
Oh yeah, sure.
At the beginning, but honestly, I wouldn't like to have it any other way. I love it.
Wow, that's amazing. Are there any moments that stick out to you? I think you mentioned earlier that this season you feel like things are starting to come together even more for you. Are there any moments this season that stick out to you as highlights for you?
I mentioned the 2 6 fouls PKs, so that was nice. But I think you really have to, or at least for me, you really have to make a great goal. in order to bang out on me. And I'm not trying to sound overconfident or anything, but
Yeah.
I try to drive myself into make sure all the savable goals get saved at least.
Yeah.
You know, I might have to take it step by step and then be able to get out the banger shots, the craziest shots. Jeremy, who's your brother, he got a crazy goal on me, you know. Great goal though. I respect it. Again, brush it off like a goldfish.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of memory. And sorry, this guy sees, man. I can't look over to the screen because I see he sees, man. No, but making the small saves, making the crucial saves. I think one time you guys talked about it, that we didn't really notice Frankie and Andres. But that comes again from our team. You know, they take such a heavy load off me and Frank.
Yeah.
Because they do their due diligence defensively.
Yeah.
You know, they don't give away easy shots. They don't give. I'm just gonna keep it at that. They don't give an inch. They don't give anything.
Yeah.
And that helps us weed out the sloppy shots. That helps us weed out the simple saves that sometimes look like we can make. Sometimes, you know, So, you know, honestly, I think the things I can look at is focusing on what I can control, focusing on what I can do. You know, hey, those banger shots, they're going to happen all the time. I'm a goalkeeper. I have to realize that. You know, I'm going to get scored on eventually.
Yeah.
You know, I'll save as much as I can. You know, I don't mind it because I'm going to get better.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, Andres Montes of Ole. We're going to cut to a quick commercial, and he'll still be here when you get back. So if you got any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're also going to start talking about who are your top two in the FCS, and that is on the other side of the ad break. So don't go anywhere. We're ticking down to the final moments. Shoreline City trying to put something together. Aldoni Mendez, he's shielding off Hasevic's toe poke, finds the back of the net. Shoreline's up by 1 with a minute to play.
Wow, Aldoni Mendez just showing his intelligence to shield the ball, to not let Hasevic come through, and just to prevent, I mean, Hasevic is pulling at him, just prevent any.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
McKenzie plays it in, gets it right back to Ramsey Terminini. Weisenhunt's across. Whoa! Hold up! Ramsey Terminini from the circle.
And just like that, Jenga is back in this match. What a shot from Terminini from deep.
My.
Unbelievable. He unleashes just power.
Placement to the upper 90 back post, and the lead is ultimately asking the question, like, was this the best match of futsal on U.S. soil? From a perspective of an entire 40 minutes of futsal, two teams that are playing really good futsal. It's back and forth, but not because it's chaotic.
The intensity just kept increasing.
Yeah.
And it started at kickoff.
Very little drop-off or mistake, and they just keep playing that really good futsal. This is what it's supposed to look like right here. There's no doubt that the environment, it's a part of what makes a game what it is. But I think like this is a game that if you took all that away and you just watched the game, it would be amazing still.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
They're currently down 2. Here's Hindich at the near post. She slots it in. What a placement.
Yeah, fantastic
from number 9,
placement.
Medina Hindich. So take another look.
That's what,
wow.
Ole has to be frustrated with the goalkeeping.
I was pleasantly surprised with how we did. I feel like we did compete to the level that we could. I think you could definitely tell like our lack of experience. I think some of our goals were generally just some mistakes, and I think it's like a combination of nerves and just not, having the experience playing at the pace that we were playing. It's really fast, and I think if we tighten that up, like we could have, stayed.
Yeah.
Really like there with them, which is cool. I think for our first game, especially going against a team like Ole, I was really proud of the way we played.
Yeah.
Made a fantastic play. You want to make that pass to the back foot and really give your teammate an opportunity just to slide it home first time, but Aldama was not able to handle it.
Midwest are able to work it up. How about this back post? A pretty goal. Raul Montañez doubles the lead.
Look, Aldama could not handle the pass to put it away himself, so he said, you know what, Montañez, I'm going to give it back to you, Raul. With a little back heel flick, just roll over, give it back to him. Montañez.
You're watching the Futsal Champions Series on FCS Live.
Welcome back, everybody, to the third half, presented by Ally Marketing. If you're looking for a teammate in the marketing space, check out allymarketing.us. Ally Marketing, let's be friends. Ladies and gentlemen, returning is Andres Montes of Ole Futsal, making the drive out here to the studio in Lansing. If you missed the first portion of the show, go back and take a look and take a listen. Andres talks about how he got into futsal, his experiences, and really the highlight, at least for me, is just the hunger that he's been communicating, his willingness to just stand in the face of making mistakes and fear of making those mistakes just not affecting him and continuing on. So definitely take a look at that if you haven't. We're going to move on to a question that I wanted to talk about. We're kind of at this point in the season where we are almost at the playoffs, and the playoff picture is a little bit more clear, but things could kind of shuffle around a little bit. And so I thought it'd be very interesting to ask, who are your top 2 teams in the FCS? So if you have your take, feel free to put it in the chat. With Ole being undefeated since the beginning of last year, I think it would be wild to not have them at least in the top 2. But, I mean, why would they not be number 1 at this point? So, I mean, what else would you guys have to do? You know what I mean? So I think this conversation largely becomes about who is your number 2. Currently on the standings, Shoreline is number 2. They have they're in a position, pretty good position to take that number 2 seed. I'm actually going to throw that up on the screen real quick so we can see what the standings look like right now. So, of course, you guys, Ole, 6-0. and have not lost in the FCS. Only one tie is the only non-win at the very beginning last year, a 6-6 draw with Midwest. Everything else has been a W. And then Shoreline in second, Imperial, Lansing City, followed by the bottom four there. Top six make it into the playoffs. Chicago House is in that sixth spot. However, Midwest have 4 games left to play, and they only need 1 win to jump them. So likely it's going to be they will flip, and you'll have the top 6 leaving out Chicago and Innovation. But Innovation also has 2 games left, so they're definitely they're not out of it for sure. But that's where the standings are right now. So let's bring this back. So Andres, I wanted to ask you, what do you feel like? You guys had a chance to play all 3 of these teams that are right under you. You played Midwest as well. You guys have yet to play Jenga. But who do you feel like? Who do you think is in that? Who do you see as the top 2 in the FCS right now?
For me, it goes head to head between 2 teams. It goes between Shoreline and it goes between Lansing. I think Shoreline has a top team. I think Lansing has a top team. I think, however, look, I know Shoreline's in a good position to stay in second.
Yeah.
Right? I know they're in a great position to stay in second because they have 1 more game less, right?
No, actually they have 3, so they have to face Jenga still.
Yeah, but like apart from the 3rd and 4th seed, which is Lansing and Imperial.
Oh, so they're
1 game less.
They play. You're saying 1 game less right now.
Yeah, they're 1 game less right now.
Yeah, so they have 7. Yep, 7 games played, and then Imperial and Lansing both are at 8.
Yeah.
Yep. So, but Shoreline have Jenga and Midwest and Lansing are their last 3.
Yeah, I think Shoreline like on the table can end as 2, but like realistically in playoffs it's a different ball game as well too. I think Lansing can give us a better game than Shoreline. And that's not to discredit Shoreline because Shoreline's been doing great things. Shoreline has top players. But I think, we see them.
Yeah.
They're getting cooked. I think Shoreline.
Well, let's talk about this. You guys have played all 3 of these teams this year. So tell me about what these games were like for you, and kind of how you got to this point where you're like, I think Shoreline, Lansing, maybe Lansing has the edge. Tell me about your experience playing these teams this year.
Oh, so shoot, we'll start with Lansing. Lansing, the first game, I didn't get really too much on it. I had 10 minutes, broke my nose, and then got off. Right?
Yeah, how is it doing, by the way?
It looks straighter.
I was gonna say it looks straight.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it looks
me.
totally straight. But are you still wearing the mask though?
I am still wearing the mask.
Okay.
Sometimes these balls are magnets to your face, man. Just boom.
Yeah.
So I don't want to break it again. So on the first game, I can't really say much, but on the second game, at least on the last game, I got scored on 4. And it's not just coming from my perspective, but I think Lansing did a better job at like maybe isolating 1v1s, maybe having better shots off or whatever. I think the case against Shoreline, and again, it's not to discredit them, but I think we just played a little worse. I think we weren't on top. I think it was the game that even Coach Fabian wasn't there.
He wasn't, yeah. I think Lito and Sammy were kind of coaching that game.
Yeah, and doesn't take away from Lito and Sam because they're great coaches but it just goes back to the thing that I was telling you again. It's a different thing having your main coach on there or having your own players do their own thing.
And we actually see that like throughout the FCS. There are even some teams that have player coaches, and sometimes even that is a struggle because you're trying to do 2 roles, right? Yeah. And that's hard. And there is there is something that is very important and helps a lot when you have your coach there. So that's true. And I'm glad you brought up well, I was going to say this. You guys against Shoreline, I've had this. To me, I felt like both teams were playing very hesitant early on. Like it kind of seemed like both teams were just being very defensive, but it kind of looked scared almost. What did you think?
It's not scared, man. It's like you ever see a boxing fight, you ever see MMA fights, you got to figure yourself opponents out sometimes.
Okay.
And you overstep, you overbite, you get caught. So sometimes maybe they're just. Maybe for Shoreline, I can't talk about them, like what they were doing, but maybe they were just calculating their move properly. We were probably trying to be a little too precautionary on the errors that we give up, because I think a lot of our goals come from that. Small errors, small mistakes. Not really that they capitalize on us or whatnot, but I think that's just what it was. Too much of a feeling out process at the beginning, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I think we should have started putting our foot down on the gas a little earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really just how I see it. I think next game, whether we see Shoreline or whether we see Lansing, is going to be a different ball game, though.
Wow. What do you think will be different about it?
I think we're going to dominate.
Wow.
I don't think we're going to dominate. We're going to dominate.
Wow. The other team that currently in third right now, Detroit, you guys had a chance to play them. That one ended, I think it was 4-0 at the end of that game. So to you, they're not in that discussion with those two. How come?
Not that they're not in this. It's just, honestly, the like, for example, Lansing has a good squad with youngins. You know, they're all learning. They're all growing. I think the keeper's top, Castaneda.
Yeah.
They have I don't want to be rude and mispronounce their names.
Yeah.
But, I'm not even gonna say it because I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna mess it up.
What,
but they have
what number? What number?
I don't even know, man.
Sometimes they change.
Sometimes they change. But no, they have good young players who can grow into being better players. But Detroit, honestly, I think their whole game plan is to foul, to hurt, to be aggressive with every team, not just us. I think their game plan is to be aggressive, be on top of them. Whatever mistake they give up, we capitalize. And you're not going to put pressure on Ole. Ole can get it out of small spaces. You know, I think that's why there's a big space discrepancy. There's a big space discrepancy between Shoreline, Lansing, and Detroit. Even if the table doesn't show it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think time will tell.
Yeah.
I think time will tell.
Yeah. Speaking of time will tell, you talk about the playoffs kind of being a different story. What do you see as being different once we get to the playoff time? It's
a drive, man. Not just from our team, it's every team. You know, I think we already have the target set on us because undefeated 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to take us out.
Yeah.
Understandable. But even if you're lined up across Shoreline or across Lansing or across whoever is on that playoff spot, you want to get to the final, man. You want to get to the next round. It's a different drive that you get into it. So that's really the only thing I see different about it. And Ole, and if I'm talking about Ole specifically, we turn up in playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think that's not going to be any different this year.
One team that has been in this conversation before and this year in kind of a unique spot because they have 4 games left, but they've also had a couple of results that didn't go their way, is Midwest. So you guys played them in the finals last year, and we haven't really been talking about them as potentially being in the top 2. You know, they could make a run if they win their last 4 games. I think that could put them potentially in the number 2 or number 3 spot. But what has been, you guys had a pretty big victory over Midwest at home. What was your experience playing against them this year?
I think Midwest has a lot of top players. They have a lot of great players, and again, not to discredit you guys or anything, but I think it's just a matter of better organization, a little bit more depth in their game, and if they work on those two, I think they could have a great spot at getting into playoff contention and whatnot. But the experience we had with them, honestly, it was a little bit dominant. I think they got the first goal.
It was almost 10.
Yeah, they got the first goal,
I think.
They got the first goal, and then, we stopped being so precautionary, I want to say it.
Yeah.
And then we popped off with another 9 goals, I think. I don't know if it ended 9-1.
11-2. 11-2. Okay. Yeah, it was almost 10.
So they scored 1 in the first half or 1 in the second half, I think. Or it was 2, something like that. But I don't think they had much to show. And it's not to be rude against them or anything. But I think it's just their game has to be deeper. Their organization has to be a little better. And they can do it with the players that they have. Everybody on Midwest is top players. They're all from Grand Rapids. You grow up around them. You see them play. They're all top players.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very interesting. Let's see. Anybody in the chat? Let's see. Shoreline versus Ole, which is a heavyweight battle. Every goal came off mistakes. Ole 1, Shoreline 2, so that would be similar to like what the standings are right now. So since we're talking about this, so Shoreline have 3 more matches. They actually play Jinga tomorrow. The first one, Shoreline was up by maybe like 3 or 4, and then Jinga had a couple goals at the end and pulled it either 4-3 or 4-4. And then they had this moment at the end where a free kick, maybe it was, most likely it was either Alex or Aldoni who put it in, but the wall like split and didn't do their job. What do you think will happen in this game tomorrow?
I think it's going to be like kind of the same story. It's going to be a close game, and it's going to come down to mistakes. Shoot, like I said, the margin for error is small.
Yeah.
You're going to split open the wall.
Yeah.
You split open the wall, it's a give and go if it's Aldoni or Alexis on it, or even Chris.
Yeah.
Or even Shumo, if they have ballers on there. You cannot. You have to be on top when playing against Shoreline. Even with Jinga, like I said, Jinga likes putting pressure on them. Not just them. They like putting pressure on everybody.
Yeah.
You make a mistake, they're going to capitalize. And I think it's going to be the exact same game as the first one. It's going to be tight. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe one dominates, but I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a close game, down to mistakes. Last minute's going to be the last 10 minutes is going to be real crucial to who the winner is.
Yeah, I think my take on this game is when I was chatting with Alex here when he came on the show, this was one of the games I think he said they had kind of let their foot off the gas in a couple of games and let teams back in that shouldn't be there. And if that's, so because of him saying that and them like recognizing that, I think this is one that
they were talking about.
Yeah, I think this was one that they were talking about. And so if I'm Shoreline City, I think I'm like, hey, we need to make sure that this doesn't happen, right? Like we're in the spot where we're in a good position to have the 2 seed, and dropping a game against Jinga and then turning around, and I think it's Lansing the very next game that they play.
Shoreline.
So, no, they play Midwest. Okay. So they have Jinga Midwest and Lansing. So I think this is a game that, like, if you're Shoreline, if you felt like, that you let your foot off the gas earlier, I think this is a game where you say, hey, we have to make sure that we're, putting the pedal to the metal for the whole game. We're not giving up anything. If anything ends up being decided by goal differential, right? You can try to run up on this game if you can. I think that's your perspective for Shoreline. If you're Jinga, this is the beginning of 2 very big games because they play Shoreline tomorrow, and then they play you guys right after that. Now, both these matches are home, so let's just go ahead and jump to that one since we're talking about it. So both these matches are home. I know this, you guys are on the other side of the coin here, but if you had to take the perspective of Jinga, what do you think it's like? How important are these 2 days for them?
Very important. I mean, it's at their house. It's in their home.
Yeah.
It's 2 home games.
They're playing number 1 and number 2 in the standings.
Number 2 in the standings. Number 1 and number 2.
Yeah.
It's very important for them. I think they're gonna. Honestly, I think Jinga's gonna start off like to try and pop off hot from the first minute.
Yeah.
They can't. I don't think they're gonna risk themselves to holding a little bit to keep it. They're gonna want to like they always do.
Yeah.
Keep high press, keep a hard pressure on you, make your mistakes, and they shoot.
Yeah.
And they go. And honestly, now that I said that like that, I look back at the Shoreline game. Yeah, it is gonna be a banger of a game, Shoreline and Jinga, because I think Shoreline, not being in their own house, have to go with that same intensity.
Yeah.
Have to go in with that same drive to beat Jinga, and not with the case with us. I think this is our first away game
for a while. Yeah,
first away game in a while. Or actually, because our first away game was against Lansing.
Yep.
And
and then you've been. Wait a second. Oh yeah. So your first. Sorry, I was expecting past games and I saw upcoming games, so I got really confused. But yeah, your first game was away, and then you just played all
home.
All the home matches.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, Midwest we haven't played yet.
Yep. Well, you played them at home, but not away. Yeah. So, okay. Yep. Wow.
Yeah, so honestly, for us, it's also going to be a game of also being mentally sharp, focused, organized, and not going in there any sort of overconfidence. And, we're in enemy territory. We have to go in. We have to go in and take, man. We have to go and take.
What can you say about the experience as a player going on a long trip like this? You guys are traveling to Cincinnati. I'm sure you've done something similar in the past. What does that take from a player's perspective to be like on point and as sharp as you are when you're at home?
I think it's just a matter of how professional you are, what you're doing before the game. You know what I mean? Like, you can go ahead, you could be having a home game, but if you're lazy all day, laying down, drinking pop, eating sloppy food right before a game, and then, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's a home game or it's a away game.
Yeah.
If you go to an away game, you realize, okay, it's a 5-hour drive. Maybe I could, if somebody's driving, I could sleep on the first hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Be up, be ready, be alert, and get ready to warm up.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of how you prepare yourself. Preparation before a game is very important. Not just the day of, beforehand too, but right before the hours, the calm before the storm is the most important. You really have to soak that in, at least for me.
Do you have any pregame like routines or things that you do the same all the time?
I shower, but I take a long shower. And I talk to myself. I visualize a little bit, but not as hard as other players. I know there's players on my team who visualize a lot too.
Yeah.
I take a long shower. I talk to myself, but besides that, I just make sure I'm ready in every aspect. I'm all hydrated. I'm all fed. I'm well rested, and everything outside of soccer is taken care of.
Yeah.
Because if you're also thinking about external things or things going on in your own life, personal life, that could eat you up too, or it could drive you for other players.
Yeah.
But at least for me, on my perspective, I had to block noise out and just focus on what's coming up ahead.
Wow. So that'll be this Saturday at 8 p.m. You guys will be traveling to Jinga to face them in Cincinnati. In between those two games, or almost at the same time as when you guys play Jinga, Lansing City are going to host Innovation Saturday at 7 p.m. The first match this year, a young Lansing squad, younger than like the typical. They were missing a few of their players. I think they went out there with maybe 8 players total, which is not unique to Lansing. I mean, most teams in the FCS struggle with availability at some point. They got the W there in Akron 7-3 on a court that was very short. What do you see in this game?
In the Lansing Innovation game? I think it's going to be another Lansing. I think it's going to be another big Lansing win. I was telling you about the youngins. The young ballers that Lansing has, it's nice to see. It's really nice to see because, dude, they have a lot. All this time they've gotten here on the FCS on the court, playing against us, playing against Shoreline, playing against Midwest.
Yeah.
That's great experience. And it's like what I was telling you in the first half of the pod.
Yeah.
Experience to command. Right now you probably see them at like, oh, they struggle sometimes. It was a close game but imagine in a year or two.
Yeah.
Imagine 2 or 3 years,
I remember I was kind of thinking something like that. I think it was 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, Drew Barney came on the podcast. And afterwards, I was talking to him, or when he was sitting here and I was talking to him, I realized that he had literally just turned 17. And I was like, man, I've been treating you like a full-grown adult when I'm talking about you, when I'm thinking about you, because he's a starter for Lansing City and plays really good. And I just was thinking it, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy literally just turned 17, and it really kind of blows your mind when you think about some of the level that you see at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, like I said, I didn't go back to Ole until I was 18.
Yeah.
So to think that this kid is playing in the FCS 17 years before that, because I know he was here last season. He was here last season, right?
Yeah, and he's been at the academy a little bit before that too.
That's all top. That's all top stuff to get into it.
So from the Lansing City perspective, I think this is your final home game. I think this is you're playing against a team that is currently at the bottom of the standings. They have 2 games left. Would be very tough for them to make the playoffs. And so I think if you're Lansing, I think this is a game that you don't want to allow innovation and any sort of ground in this game. I think it's one that you're
you have to dominate.
Yeah, you have to go out there and not let any creak in the door. If you're innovation, you're pushing for everything because you play. They have Lansing, and then they play Ole, you guys. Mm-hmm. Those are their last 2 games. And they have to win both of them to have any chance to getting in. And so it's man, these are, based on what you were just saying, this is, maybe 1 and 2 in the league that you end your season with away.
Yeah.
And that's a really tough way to end. So if you're them, it's like, dude, we just got to give it everything. Fabio Hinojosa was on the podcast last week, and he was talking about how things are, he feels like things are starting to come together for them. And they've been dealing a lot with a very common challenge for futsal in the States, which is having players that play outdoor and now learning futsal. So can they show growth at the Lansing City Arena? Can they, what will they show? I think is that question. I expect this one to be a win by a large margin for Lansing City at home, ending the year out. That's what I expect in the arena.
Sure.
Last one. This one is maybe the most exciting one of the weekend. The women's division, Chicago House faces Ole Futsal, Sunday, 10 a.m. We finally get to see the top 2 teams battle, both undefeated, and they finally get to meet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it'll be in Chicago, and I think they play each other the following week. They get 2 games against each other within a week's time.
That's tough.
Yeah, Saturday the 28th. So less than 7 days, they will face each other again in Grand Rapids. So this will be the battle for who gets the 1 seed. Whoever wins this game will have the upper hand in that, obviously. I don't know if you've had a chance to see these 2 teams play, but have you had a chance to see them play?
I've seen highlights and bits of Chicago House women. Wow,
yeah.
They're top.
They have some really good players.
Yeah, they have some. They're really good goal scorers, really good dribblers. I obviously see the Ole women's practice, play constantly. It comes down to sharpness. It comes down to whoever's more focused. It comes down to really doing what you have to do, your due diligence. The girls just went out. They went out to Atlantic City. I think this past weekend. They made it all the way to the finals, and that again goes to show how much they drive, how much they play, how focused and locked in they are. So I definitely, not to be biased, but I gotta give these to the women's team. I think they're gonna ball out and they're gonna show the dominance of futsal and Ole.
Wow.
For both games.
Yeah, House versus Ole, ladies game. This is the game we've been waiting for. Absolutely, in the women's division, this is the game, and we get 2 back-to-back, which is crazy. And again, if you guys aren't aware, with 4 teams in the women's division, the top seeded team gets a bye to the finals. So 2 and 3 will play a semifinal. So getting the number 1 seed means you're in the finals guaranteed. So that's a big deal. So that's this Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern. Personally, I feel like Chicago House has more talent, and I think they're going to win this game.
Okay.
We'll see. I mean, this is why we had the matches, because you get to see Ole play everyone else in the league. You see Chicago play everyone else in the league, and now we get to see them play each other. So very excited for this one. I just feel like the talent on Chicago House is I think they have more, and it's at a higher level. That's what I think. We'll see what happens in Chicago this Sunday, and then they'll run it right back.
Yeah,
they'll run it right back. Any final comments about any of those games, Andres?
No, honestly, I think look, you could be right. They might have better individual players, but these girls together, focused on one priority, they're ballers. These women are ballers.
Wow.
Look at what Cedar just said. They're about to let out their anger from New Jersey. You better believe it. Those girls are on fire. They want to get it back. And I think I got to stick with my Ole.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Fair.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Also, I want to mention before we end this, FCS Futures, we had another string of games this past weekend, and the girls division opened up for the first time. We saw U12 IXO playing Lansing City. We also saw the U12 boys, Ole and Lansing, U10, Ole, Lansing, and IXO. And I just have to say, all these games that we live streamed are on the YouTube channel, so you guys can watch them. You can see all of them. Couple of things that stuck out to me that I want to mention because the Futures League is super exciting. There was 2 games between Lansing and Ole. It was I think there was a U10 and then one of the U12s that were super close and came down to the very end. The last game of the night, I think it was Lansing White, U12 versus Ole. It It was like a goal in the last like 5 seconds. So if you are interested, take a look at that video and at least watch the last like 5 minutes of the game because it got crazy. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there was a player for the IXO U12 girls team. I think she was number like 14, and I think her name is Sole. She was the best player I saw the whole weekend. Yeah? She was very good. Nice. So shout out to IXO and I think number 14 Sole, who just played very, very well. But just exciting things with the FCS Futures, and we can watch them, which is great. They can watch them with their families, which is amazing. So we got more Futures games coming up later on. Just as a reminder, we stream them to our website, and then we upload them to the YouTube channel here, so that's how you guys can catch them. And that's going to bring us to the very end of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Andres, thank you so much for making the drive into the studio. We have 4 exciting futsal matches this weekend. You can catch them all starting tomorrow, 8 p.m. Jinga will take on Shoreline, and then 2 right around the same time. So you got to get 2 monitors out, 2 TVs out for the Lansing Innovation, and then Jinga and Ole on Saturday, 7 and 8 respectively. And then Sunday we end it all off with the women's Chicago versus Ole. We're getting closer and closer to the playoffs, to the finals. Are you pumped for that?
Of course, man.
So pumped as we get into the postseason. I'm Jared Kleppel. That's Andres Montes. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you guys this weekend. Good night.
The attack.
Kleppel now with it. Space inside. Shot. He finds the back of the net. Lansing City up by 1.
We haven't said it yet this season, but what a rocket from Jeremy Kleppel across.
Lyle turning his back, trying to get in front of it and also protect himself as Kleppel finds the side net and gives Lansing.
Committing a crime so you can try to escape from prison. Bad idea. Go into the pod escape room to play an escape game with your friends. Great idea. Test your skill as an astronaut in outer space. Find Santa in Save Christmas. Or take a vacation to an abandoned island. Just don't get stuck there. The Pod Escape Room. Learn more at thepodlansing.com.
Nice run out of here at Lansing City. Oh, excellent play. Lansing City with a goal. We were just talking about Ole's ability to make the extra pass, and wouldn't you know it, Lansing City does the same exact thing.
Like, if I'm a fan of Midwest and I watch that game, and we have what I would be, in my opinion, one of the best keepers in the league. And he's not playing the second half.
And to Marco, what we saw, he gave up 6 goals. Lucario was in there for 20 minutes. First half, didn't give up any. And so, that's a huge disparity.
You're watching the Futsal Champions.